me? How's it hanging? How's it happening? You guys know what it is. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast. The podcast Rolling Stone Magazine describes as the one that initiates profound discussions with rock and metal artists, allowing fans to cover the creative workflow of other famous musicians and understand the factors that make the band succeed or fall from fame. We are all sponsored by Dark Fusion Systems, the best of your cuts competing needs. Get $100 off your entire bill. Go to VPod at darkfusionsystems.com. Link to the podcast below. Please go to millionpodcast.com. They rank the top X number of podcasts in a certain category for many different categories. They do music. We're on the best metal music podcast at number 10. Top 10 is good. Number 1 would be better. Go to metalcore though. We're number 2, and I still want that gold. So trust me, we're going to get there, and let's make it happen. Now let's go to our feature presentation. It's been 2 weeks since we've seen you guys, and today, we're starting out 2025 with an absolute, not 2025, screw that, 2026 with an absolute bang. We have Eric from Machines back on the podcast. His first time back on the podcast in 2.5 years. We have them on with a brand new single called In the Dark that just released on New Year's Day. We go into the song a little bit, but the crux of the conversation is absolutely insane because Eric starts talking about things that are holding young bands back and things that are preventing young bands from really hitting the big time, really having a chance because of how they're being taken advantage of by so many other people. I did not want that to go unnoticed. So we dive so deep into that. It is unbelievable. If you're a young band, if you're a young artist, or if you're a fan of music and want to know what the hell is happening, especially to start out the second half of the 2020s, yeah, this is for you. Are you guys ready? Let's go! Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. We took 2 weeks off because, well, it was Christmas time, it was New Year's, and we want to spend time with our family. You want to spend time with your families, but now we're into a brand new year. We got some brand new music that needs to be talked about, and with this one, why not start with a band that released a song on New Year's Day for you? Even better, a band that has been on the podcast, has not been back since 2023, so it is the perfect time to do it. You may remember this band, you may remember this guy because we talked a lot about being the student of music that he is, learning from all these different types of genres to maximize the emotional effect of the songs that he writes, along with what the band really stands for, what the mindset behind it is, and just a full explanation of how the music will evolve over time. And now we get to see it actually happen. The debut album, We Are Machines, came back out in 2023. They released a single called Holy Water in 2025, but New Year's Day, 2026, a song called In the Dark came out, and let's get you back into the band because if you forgot about them, boo. But if you did, here's your refresher. So please welcome back Eric from Machines to the podcast. So Eric, welcome back.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me back, man. It's great to catch up with you again.
Dude, thanks for being back on, and thanks for reaching out too, especially with the brand new song, because right when you said it, I was like, I remember this guy. I remember how much fun of a conversation we had. I was like all into this. Yep, let's go with it. Let's roll with it. We got to bring it back on, and that didn't take too long to get this rolling, did it?
No, I just reached out, and you're like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it.
It's always fun to have that kind of just, you know what, fuck it, we ball mindset with some of this stuff. Even going on this, 7 years of this podcast already, still having that mindset, it works.
Yeah, man. It's like, I mean, there's a lot of good things. I like planning just as much as everybody else. There's a lot of good things that happen at the spur of the moment as long as you're making the right decision, you know? So, like, as we talked about before. But, yeah, I like to still have a little bit of that's why I was like, dude, I haven't talked to him in a while. I said, we're putting this out. I said, I know. I remember last time we were talking, he's like, dude, if you put something else out or when you're putting something else out, always hit me up. We'd love to have you back. And I'm like, well, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, and I'll say even better part too is maybe it's a good thing I'm still a one-man show over here because anytime something comes through, it's like I see it. It's all up in my brain. Of course, I'd still rather have more people working for me on this and making a lot more money on this and having it a much bigger operation than it already is. However, then things might get slipped through the cracks because, this one might not seem as important as it could be. But if it comes straight to me, I see it. It's like, must do it now.
Must do it now. Yep. Absolutely, man.
Well, Eric, it's been 2.5 years since you've been on the podcast. It's been 2.5 years since the debut album, We Are Machines, came out. So let us all in on what's happened over the past 2.5 years. What has all gone down for Machines? What's happened with you? Let's get all caught up here with everybody else.
Yeah, man. Well, I think right when we came on, or when I came on last time, I think we were prepping for the Earshot tour.
Yep.
I think we were releasing the album, prepping for the Earshot tour. We did that. It went pretty well. Will's great, Aaron's great. Met some good friends out, John and Chandler, that were playing guitar and bass for Earshot. Met those guys. That was a really good time. I think we were out like 18, 19 shows with them. And we finished like 26 or 27 shows. It was September to it was almost all October. So late September into all of October. And then we got home like on Halloween or something like that. That was pretty fun. I got to play a lot of cool venues. I think it was like 9,700 miles, 9,800 miles. So we everywhere from Midwest to San Diego, across the South to Florida, up north to Jersey, and played dingbats in Jersey, and then toured back in. So it was a good run, man. And then after that, I think we played like a one-off or two in 24. We played a couple shows here in 25. Like I've been writing a ton, like we've talked before. Evolving sound, writing stuff that's not even necessarily for us, writing stuff for other bands, writing different styles, and all in all, like shaping what Machines is coming. So I've got a lot of stuff in the works for Machines as far as new music. That's different elements. In the Dark brings some of that out. There's still some of that traditional sound of our stuff, but I think you see a little bit more like kind of guided towards what we talked about last time, just continuing to guide that ship on studying and where we want it to be, how we want it to sound, the method, the formula. Like Nickelback's a master of that. We talked about that, like the formula of how to write these songs and how much time you're really going to be allotted if you're in the conversation. Like you can't be coming to them with like a 6-minute song right now. Like it needs to fit a formula. The don't bore us, get to the chorus. So man, it's been a lot of that, dude, on top of being a dad and working and stuff. So, balancing that juggling act,
It's not an easy act to balance either, being, trying to do something with music, especially with Machines, trying to put your all into it, along with being a dad, being a provider for your kids, being a provider for your family, working. There's a lot that comes into there where all your focus has to be so many different places and always has to be 100% so many different times. That balance is something that a lot of people not only struggle with, not only if they're within music, but also if they don't even have music around them and they might just be, being the provider for their family and just having a job. There's so many different aspects in everybody's lives that make those decisions when you have so many responsibilities potentially tougher to deal with, potentially tougher to have to manage all of that time. But when you're able to actually do that, set up something for yourself and have it done successfully, that's when things really play out for the best. And I'm assuming with juggling all of those different responsibilities, when you talk about only doing a couple of one-off shows in 24 and 25, that was likely the reason behind it, not only for yourself, but also the other members of the band.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's kind of doing stuff. Nick, obviously he's in the real estate side of things. I do the mortgage side of things. Also in the golf business. So it's like, he's trying to open a broker, or was doing opening a brokerage at the time for the real estate office in Kansas City and Missouri. I'm back up in Omaha. I moved back to Omaha, so like just busy, man. But like at the end of the day, you get to really hone in, like we talked about last time, just always be in that lab. Like, when the kids go to sleep, I go downstairs and I write and I put on a metronome and pick up a guitar or have a line and make sure like you're like, okay, cool, like this is how I want this melody to be, and throw it down. And I've messed with different writing styles, because predominantly it always used to just be a click and a guitar, and then it would kind of form from there. And over time, as I've grown as a vocalist, I'll hear stuff and it's like, all right, cool, so we'll kind of write from that angle too. And it's just like I said, man, that's what not being so active on the road and trying to tour. And I mean, we talked about this a little bit last time. Like it's a crock, man. Like it's tough. Like you'll get out there, you might get a good tour, you might get a bad tour. There's a lot of buy-on slots for a lot of artists right now that are really shouldn't be buy-on slots. The artists they're buying on with don't even draw themselves. Like, so it's just kind of like, it's a weird climate for the industry, and me, I'm always going to be honest about it. I've been in this game for a long time. I watch a lot of younger bands coming up too, and it's like there's a lot of business practices that are happening where it's just kind of like, yeah, like, is it really worth it? Like, there was even times on the last tour we were on where it's like, like, fuck, man, we got kids, dude. Like, like, is it really worth it? Like, and at the end of the day, playing music and gaining fans and whoever's there, whether it's 5 people, 10 people, or 500 or 10,000 people, it's still fun. But when you grow and you're not a 21-year-old kid who's just still living with mom and dad, and like, they're paying for stuff, and you've got, like, it's a different ball game when you're an adult, man. And this is a business, and so at the end of the day, it's like the nothing was really out there, that was really gonna just, nothing happens without you putting the work into trying to make it happen. And we also had other things going on, so it's like, hey, let's just continue to keep writing the best music that we can write. And when we want to release it, we'll release it, right? Like, we'll put it together and we'll start putting it out there. And 26, like I said, my kids are getting a little bit older. Nick's got himself a little grounded with the brokerage going. I think he's actually going to move to Florida. Casey's hopped in and been playing bass with us, and which somebody I played music with for several years prior. Him and I have a relationship. He lives a block away from me in Omaha. So like, it's my partner in the studio stuff too, for when we write with other bands or mix or produce for them. So like, he's got his basement set up, I got my basement set up, and it works out pretty good, man. So that's a big reason why you probably haven't seen much of us really like, oh, we're going to go try and play, 2 or 3 weeks out. It's like, one, there's really no reason to try to do that and, like, go bankrupt. Like, I'm not going to go bankrupt, but I'm not going to go spend money to try to play music right now. Like, it's just, I'm worried more about making money and writing good stuff. And if the opportunities come from the music being there and us working it correctly, cool. But if it's not, I'm not going to go out there and go against a business plan that doesn't make a whole bunch of sense.
And of course, as you get older too, you really recognize that. You understand that from your own past experience, not only in the music industry, but your past experiences working as well, because I've seen that happen with, a previous job that I had when we were last talked, where as time went on, it's like, I can't really see this being a thing that is going to stick around for a while. So I got to make a pivot. I got to make a change. And it wasn't easy. But when I finally did, it's all right. Now something's much more sustainable. Something's much more better for myself. Let's keep focusing in on this. And yeah, there's times where I've got to focus in on that. There's times where when it comes to the podcast, I still want to focus in on this. But then doing time management with not only this podcast, my full-time job, my relationship, my friends, me doing MMA now, me also going to all the concerts, me going to the gym all the time. There's so many different aspects that I have to be so focused on every step of the way, where there might be some time where I get a break from something, but now I got to focus in on something else. And I wish I could do so many other things, but man, sometimes you just get stretched thin. However, there is something you brought up that I really want to dive deep into now, because since starting this podcast in 2019, this was pre-pandemic, and over the past 7 years, from conversations with how the music industry has worked and how it's evolved, we've seen many different changes and many different things get called out over the course of that time. It could be things with AI, it could be things with just these different tours, it could be things with streaming, all the like the merch cuts, you name it. But with what you're seeing right now is like those bad business practices that young bands really need to avoid, that, you're especially seeing right now. I'm curious to hear from your side. What are those? I'm really curious about this.
Well, yeah, man, it's like, like starting just if you think about it, like, you get successful, professionals who like myself or Nick or somebody like that, people that got money, like, we understand where a dollar's going to go and where I'm going to plan it. Like, the music, I guess, like, break it down. Like, I said, music is a dream, right? Okay, cool. I want to make it big. Yeah, everybody wants to make it big, dude. One, the music has to be great. There's no reason for it not to be great. The right team has to be involved. The right people have to make money off it. Like, it's just that whole side of it will never change, right? Like, it's going to be something where, like, is it possible? Absolutely. Anybody can strike it. You got to be good. It has to be great. Like, the music has to be great. You got to have a good team. You got to have it has to happen at the right time. Like, it's all a lot of things. Now, they also, I found that a lot of times what these guys do, and like I said, some of these guys are still my friends. Others I've kind of cut from the fold, because it's like, dude, like, you're here for a paycheck, dog. And I at the end of the day, I can do the same thing you're doing. Like, so is that the only reason we're friends, right? Like, and that's the way that a lot of relationships will be. Younger bands get big old eyes because they're like, holy shit, this guy's talking to me and he wants to do this and he wants to do that. Yeah, okay, well, they're asking you for $250 to open up for, well, I'm not going to say any names, but I know of certain bands that were one-hit wonders of the late 90s and 2000s and stuff like that. They had barely even got the normal lineup. They can only pull 45 people in freaking Omaha, Nebraska, and they want $250 a damn show. Like, bro, you're paying for his bus. Like, don't do that. If you're a 19 to 25-year-old band and you're working with minimal dollars, maybe mommy and daddy do got money. Eventually, they're going to be smart about it too, because the mommy and daddy got money because they know what they're doing with money. And when they see that money that they're putting out isn't returning anything, the funnel is going to run dry. So the problem is that at the end of the day, when these bands are doing this, they're like, oh, it's going to get me so much exposure. It's like, well, dude, you paid on, $200 to $500 a show to play in front of. Some shows might be 10 people. The biggest show might be 90 people. Like, yeah, you're going to get some fans, but like, you're not going to recoup the dollars out of that. You're not going to sell the merch out to, like, I know bands that went out, like, they got great breaks that have good relationships. Sidewise was one of them, man. Nick was in Sidewise prior to them going out, but they went out with Seven Dust and went out with Godsmack, and they were able to sell enough merch off of buying onto that tour where they made money. They ran out of merch every single night, and they needed to get more merch sent out emergently every single week, right? That's a smart buyout. I put myself in front of a minimum of 1,000 people a night. Now it's up to me as a band to go support how good I think I am. And I'm either going to jump out here and respectively compete with these individuals that I used to look up to, who are now and still friends, but also competitors. We're in the same business here. I want to be respected as a competitor, not like looked at as like, oh, they're my idols. Like we talked about that last time, the kill your idol thing. It's like, they can still be people that you took influence from, but if you want to be on that level, like, they might help you get to that next stage, but they're also putting you in front of a platform of people and a big amount of people that are going to allow you to be able to go out there and do what you need to do to succeed and make money. If you do great, people are going to flock to your merch booth just as fast as they're going to flock to theirs, right? But you might have spent whatever $500 a night to go play with these guys, but you're selling $2,000 a night in merch, right? Now you're covering your merch expense, you're covering your buy-on expense, you're going positive there, and you're also covering your travel expense, because it shouldn't cost you more than a couple $100 a night to travel, right? So, like, you're at least making a little bit of money. Is it sustainable? Hell no. But you're capturing real fans that are adding you to their playlist. They're following you on social media, and they're actually doing things to become a real fan. It's not a passive fan, it's an active fan that is actually engaging with you on a daily basis and showing up when you're within a few hours, right? There are more. So what you have now, those opportunities for bands are very minimal unless they got big pockets, because there's a lot of people getting paid. What you have now is more of like these washout bands, these C-list nationals that were, had maybe a hit. And one of them, I'm not even going to say any names, but a lot of people know who I'd be referring to. But there's one that just, the singer can't keep his mouth shut about the government and this and that and everything else. And
We know.
Dude, you put 12 people in this. Like, I remember watching you open up for Nickelback on one of your first big tours in an arena, and now you come treat people like crap, but you expect people to buy onto your shows for what? So you can have a lifestyle that you still try to get, but no, dude, that's an absolute terrible practice for a younger band. Like, focus the energy on trying to really get somebody who's good with marketing, who understands what your niche is, who can guide your ship in. Because, dude, you could go do look at Loveless, dude. You could go do like ridiculous numbers on TikTok, and all of a sudden you have labels biting at your feet because you do millions of views on TikTok. And he came out of nowhere, and he's a great artist, but came out of nowhere. And that's, like I said, so you can find your niches as a younger band, and you don't have to go, because they'll be, oh, you can go out and buy on with this band that had this hit here, or they had one great album. It's like, okay, but what do they do? What is the data right now to support you spending $200 to $500 a night to play with this band? Because I can tell you right now, when you get out there in the middle of it and you're watching nobody show up, but you're watching the stupid bus that they're driving, and how much it costs the driver and the trailer and the rest of the band and their per diems and their lifestyle and their hotels, and you're shacking up at a frickin' Love's in the middle of Kentucky somewhere, halfway almost broke down, you're going to be like, what the hell, dude? right? So like that, those things don't click when you're whitewashed with, oh, this is how it goes. This is how it goes. Like, yeah, everybody pays their stripes, dude. You got to go do a couple hard tours. You need to go out there and realize like, not everything's gonna be great, dude. Like there's gonna be bad. You're gonna break down. Things are gonna happen. Be short on money. You might go upside down a week straight. Hey, we haven't had a lot of people show up. It happens. But the fact that a younger band would go out there and actually pay for that is something that I would love to block in this industry. You have the same big bands all touring together. They just decide like, okay, and I love all these bands, but it's like, dude, I can only see Daughtry and see their tour together, or like the Lowry. But it's like, dude, like we all love these guys, but like open it up. Get one band that deserves to be on there without making them pay $30,000 to get onto this damn tour. Open it up and give somebody a chance. Otherwise, once LeJean is retired, once Clint Lowry's retired, once the dudes from Caesar retire, once Daughtry retires, who the hell are you gonna have?
Mm-hmm.
You can't just keep playing in the same circles. Like those bands have a platform that it's like, dude, you could help, and not everybody deserves it, but find a band that you love. Like Clint found Nothing More, right? He was working with them. Find a band that you love and hope they don't burn you. Give them the platform to go out there and try to bust ass with you and see if they'll make you proud. That's the reason a lot of them don't do it, is because, what happens if it's just like you referring somebody for a job. You refer somebody and this guy just ends up being a drug addict or quitting. Now you look bad, right? So there's reasons around a lot of the stuff that happens, but I feel like it's such a closed off industry where you've got these major booking companies that handle all the booking. They're in with all of the same venue companies that that do this, and the managers and everything like that. So you're either involved in that and you're willing to play ball in that, or you're going to be at some type of other tier outside of that gets some type of scraps from it. You're still paying for it, right? So it's just, at the end of the day, it's how that is, and infiltrating that in the best way possible, which the biggest way to do it and the fastest way to do it is numbers, right? Accurate numbers, not bots, but accurate numbers that say, we can do this on our own. Like we don't really need you. I love this guy as a great example. He doesn't need a label. He didn't have to go sign a label deal, but it does add fuel to the fire. But he's already making money. That's why the label wanted him, is because he was already making money. So that's the biggest thing. I know I kind of went on a little bit of a long spurt there, but that's the biggest thing as an artist, dude. Like it's just, some of this shit's a crock of shit. Like, and they're going to sell it to you like a used car salesman. Because that's all they got to do is get you to believe, like, dude, this is the next big thing. They haven't toured for 20 years or 15 years. It's the biggest tour. They're coming back. And it's like, guess what, man? The world doesn't give a fuck. Pardon my French. But they don't fucking care. They cared about him 15 years ago. They cared about him 15 years ago. They don't necessarily care about what's happening right now, right? Like, unless they're putting out a hit right now, because there's a million other bands. And you hear this. I mean, there's so many good songs released every single day, dude. So just because, Wes from Puddle of Mud is coming out with a new album, nobody gives a fuck. They want to hear Blurry, right? Like, I mean, until he writes another Blurry, which he won't, nobody gives a fuck. It's just, and he'll still get people to show up. And unfortunately, that's the guy that we did shows with. They showed up because they wanted to see the shit show. They didn't want to see him succeed. Just like watching a dirt bikers crash. They don't want to see him complete the jump. They want to see him crash. They were showing up to see Wes not succeed. And it's like, dude, that's a hell of an artist. Had some hard times, a hell of an artist. But unfortunately, when you go to that show, they're waiting to hear Blurry, right? Like, so the biggest trick with this is finding something that's relevant to now that you can do, and you can get numbers behind it on your own, whether that's finding your own marketing team, doing your own publicity. And literally, it's a job. I mean, it's a job. Like, are they willing to go on Spotify and search out Gmails and find playlists of people and get in contact with people and try to shove their stuff? It's a different form of walking down a downtown and handing out your flyer to every single person that you see and watching them crumple it up. But then some people take it, right? It ain't the 80s anymore. It's 2025 or 26 now. So it's guerrilla marketing yourself, having a team that does it as well, driving your numbers, and getting away from, like, because that's the thing, is there's so many people. Like, I mean, I will say one, and you can choose to cut this if you want, but Scotty Austin. I've seen that dude sit there and treat so many people bad And all he's doing is like, oh, let me tell you about the music industry. It's like, bro, why? Like, he has every single person, all these management teams hear about, well, you can buy on with Scotty Austin. It's like, well, no shit. Duh. That's the only way he's going to make money. And you can cut this out if you want, but that's me being real with you. At the end of the day, like, dude, I would never advise a band to go buy on with him or Tantric or something like that. Like, cool guys, right? Some of them are cool, some of them aren't so cool. But I would never advise you to go buy onto that stuff, because at the end of the day, you're going to lose money. They're the ones making money. It's designed to be that way because he's got a manager to pay for. He has a team to pay for. He's got a bus to pay for. He's got travel, hotel, ways to get to places. But when there's only 47 people in a crowd, it's not worth $200 a night or $250 a night. I'm sorry if you keep this in here, Scotty. I'm sorry, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it for people to pay that. And because at the end of the day, when you run the numbers, you're going to go out and spend $25,000 or something like that, and you're going to make back maybe 6 or 8. So at the end of the day, and that's depending on how long the run is, right? Maybe it's a 2-week run, and you go out and you spend, you put merch runs together. You do, it's factor just at a minimum $250 a day. Factor maybe just $1,000 to $1,500 for somewhat kind of breakdown. But just put it all into motion. And once that all happens, and I can show you receipts for all this stuff. Once that happens, you're going to be at 10K real quick. You ain't making 10K on that tour. I can promise you. You won't even come close. You could be out for 6 months and not make 10K on that tour.
I'll say not even meant to just make 10K on that tour. It's what I think, especially what you're bringing up, is a lot of these younger bands, you're going to get people out there that are going to try and sell you this stuff. So the snake oil salesman, your used car salesman type people, or like your boxing promoters, if you want to go to that type of analogy, where they're going to promote everything, try and promise you the world. But what's going to end up happening is the focus of them is just them getting paid. And as a younger band, a younger artist, when those things come up, the best thing you can do is not only run the numbers for yourself, but talk to other artists that have done something like this and hear what they have to say. Because some people might have, had these buy-on spots for bands and had a great experience. Like I'll use Seven Dust as a great example, because Seven Dust is going to pull over 1,000 people a night, no matter where they go.
Buy onto that show immediately.
Because of how high a quality it is, and everyone knows how insane this show, how insanely fun it's going to be. Seven Dust, I don't think, has ever put on a bad show in their entire life. And if they have, the footage has been lost to the ether. But that's a lot of people to get your stuff in front of. And if people are flocking to the merch booth because you sound incredible and you've made fans, imagine it to 1,000 fans over and over and over and over again. But, if you're playing in halls that hold maybe 100, 150 cap, and they're only pulling in a 10 or 20% of that, it's not going to be worth it. And you're going to end up tallying up that money, and that's just going to put you further in the hole when at such a young age. I understand that you're probably going to have to spend more to try and get there, but you don't want to put yourself so far in the hole that it takes you a couple of years to even recover that, or it completely shuts you down because it was one bad mistake that you were sold basically a lie on. I don't want to see it. I'm glad you brought up a lot of that, though, and I didn't want you to stop either. I wanted to let you go as much as you wanted, because for younger artists that are out there, or just fans that are out there, knowing what the hell is actually going on in the music industry and what the hell is actually being faced by some of these younger artists is something that we really need to spotlight and show, so that these younger artists can figure out how to navigate this stuff, and we can see the next generation of great musicians come through and not get stifled by bad business practices or people that no longer have that spot on top trying to hold on to whatever the heck they can, or people that aren't even making the music but trying to suck every dollar out of you because they feel like they have the ability to, and they're going to. It could be the venues, it could be management companies, it could be anybody. And yes, there are good people out there. Don't get us wrong. There are good people out there. But in any type of entertainment industry, there's going to be a lot of bad that you have to sift through. And if we're not talking about it and calling it out, then people are just going to keep falling for the same stuff over and over again, or new bad business practices are going to come up that are going to be even more intricate. They're going to screw you over even more. And we're seeing those bad business practices not only go to you guys as artists, but us as fans. We're seeing it across the board as well, with so many with increases in ticket prices, merch prices, because of how many hands are in the pot trying to take that money away from you guys, the artists.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And that's the thing, is to think about it like, there'd be, you speak about it right there. It's perfect. Like fans, right? What happened to this band, man? I used to love this band. I don't know. Why don't you go looking and see what happened? If you can get the real story of what happened, there's only usually a couple of things. If things are going okay, the band's going to probably still be around, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's take drugs out of the picture. If it's not drugs, it's a little different day and age. There's not a lot of guys really in that same vein as the grunge era. I mean, there's still drug addicts that do this stuff, but it's not like the grunge era anymore. But so if they were really doing this for real, and it was a band that had some steam behind them, and they just disappear, or they change names, or they do this, or they do that. So either somebody got involved and tore up two conflicting writers or something like that, or they just ran out of money. They went bankrupt. They can't do it anymore, and they go, there's a lot of times where a lot of artists are going to sit there and go, like, I can't, I'm not progressing forward. I don't know what's going on. Like, should I quit? Right? Like, what's the point? Like, this is one game where, like, doesn't matter. Like, you could put all the effort in the world. You could have all the right people, the right producers, the right radio team, and still doesn't hit. Still doesn't go. It's literally, there's what we joked about it every once in a while, man. We might as well go to the fucking casino, put on red. Like, because you can have a great song. It doesn't really, there's a bunch of great songs. And it's like, who's working that song with this person? Who knows this person the best that can get you the chance to over there? Because it's like, dude, I can guarantee you, like, there's probably out of 10 songs, there might be 9 great songs that if it just got the chance to go on there, it would hop off like that too. Right? Like, it just doesn't get the chance to get on there. And then in that time of trying to make that happen, I mean, if you think about it, certain bands could spend, dude, there's bands that spend like, $2 to $3 grand on a music video, then radio team, $3 grand to $5 grand to $7 or $10 grand. And then you got the recording of it, which is going to be anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000, depending on who you got doing it, who's mixing, who's mastering. I mean, dude, you could be talking $10,000, $15,000 a single on a dollar store budget for music, right? Like, that's not label, but I mean, those guys could go 50, 80, 100, 200, $300,000 in music videos, right? A video alone. They're paying retail for all this crap. So as a band, if you're younger and you're like, okay, cool, well, who do I want to produce my stuff? Okay, make the connection yourself. Go to them yourself. Try to get the friend rate from them. They're still going to make money off you, but try to get them invested in your project. Because at the end of the day, that you only can do so many of those until somebody's like, whether you're older like myself and you were married and you're sort of like how much money are we going to waste on this, right? Because I could go put 10 grand into the mortgage business or the golf business and 10 times it. So as a business guy, just because there's some corrupt bullshit happening in the music industry, why the fuck would I waste 10K and lose it? I might as well just burn it in the backyard until some things change. Like, that's why I've focused solely on doing our own stuff, man. Like, I love Chris Dawson. We'll do more records together, but I've learned a lot from watching Chris, right? And want to see how it sounds when we do our own stuff. When I produce my own record, I had Rob Endling master this thing, just kind of change the game a little bit. I've designed our own merch stuff. I've designed our own new logo, like just stuff instead of paying $500 for this guy to jump in and $1,000 for that guy to jump in and $2,000 or $3,000 for this team to do it and $5,000 for this to happen. Pardon my French, but fuck that. Until the results start happening, fuck that. Like, I'm done. I'm done paying that kind of money. And I realistically, at the end of the day, younger bands have to be careful because every single one of these guys that says that they're a manager or this is how you do it, man. You got to do this. And okay, I need you to get all these songs done. And then I need you to get videos for this one. And you can't shoot a $500 video or $1,000 video. It needs to be a fucking $5,000 video. And it has to go through this guy. Or I got these 3 guys that can make money off it. It's like, no fucking shit. Who do you think these guys talk to all day, every day? This same team of people, which I get it, man. You want to build a little production circle. However, the results can't happen for just the top 3 bands in that fucking production circle, just the stars or their side projects, right? So, like, you gotta get some of the newer bands some mojo too, right? So that's what happened. You got these circles where it's like, okay, well, I'm working with these bands, and I'm working with this band from this big guy from this big act. you're doing a side project. Okay, so that guy is getting more radio churn than a brand new band who's really fucking good just because of who his other band is. Like, right? So there's just a lot of shit, man, where and this is just saying, if you could like really step away from it and look at it from a non-emotional aspect, the business plan is fucking broke. It's broke. It's gone. Like it is the only business that operates on a complete ass backwards basis.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people ask for money up front, no results, right? We got like we were talking, Sean's in vinyl distribution, so Sean Flaherty, you know who he is.
Yeah.
So I'm working with him. He, smart. Put it in a contract. Hey, we just take a percentage off of what we're making, right? Yeah, that's the way it should be. I need everybody involved that want to be involved to make this thing make something. Because trust me, I'm the least greedy person out there. But what I'm not going to do is pay somebody for no results.
Yeah, and if you do the percentage base, it's going to guarantee. It's not necessarily going to guarantee the results, but it's going to guarantee that if these people truly want to get this, like, earn the money off of this project or earn the money off of what they're helping you with, they're going to invest in it and put in the time and effort to it in order to make that happen. Trust me, I mean, what you're talking about with these younger bands, that's one thing I've always been a huge proponent of, is trying to bring on as many younger bands as possible. But of course, as time has gone on and I've grown, I've been able to get bands that like I really like and I really love to listen to come onto the podcast. Yeah, they might be bigger, and I'm always happy to have that. And for the younger artists, I'll be honest with you, I may at times seem like, oh, he's not paying attention to the younger artists anymore. And I'll give you the blueprint, everybody, on how to make sure that even if you're a younger artist or newer artist, how to get in front of people like myself, or to make sure that you're always going to be in front of people, is always try and contact us. So if you're a younger band, if you're a band that, maybe you have like say 1,000 followers on Instagram, you've got a single that's coming out and you're really proud of it and you really want to get in contact with someone like myself, yeah, message me on Instagram. I might not look at it right away because I already said I'm doing this. I have a full-time job. I've got relationships that I'm involved with my friends, my girlfriend, MMA, the gym, everything. There's so much stuff I'm focused in on all the time that some stuff just ends up slipping through the cracks. But if you keep messaging it again and again and again, I'm not saying go full spam, like message me every hour, but if it's like every day or two, it's like I see, hey, have you checked this out? Now it's going to be constantly in my head. I might get annoyed by it, but it's going to be more likely of a chance I'm going to actually look at it and respond to it versus one message. I'm like, I'll get to this, I'll forget about it and go. It's the same thing for all those playlist curators. It's the same thing for everyone else that's out there. It's the same concept of constantly handing out your flyers to everybody that passes by. I may crumple it up and throw it to the side, but maybe there's your bandmate on the other block that's going to hand me the same thing. Now I'm curious, I'm like, why am I seeing this twice in the span of 10 minutes? Now there's an intrigue that's there. It's something that you guys can do to get past all of these snake oil salesmen. They're going to try and get you to do all these things, try and get you to do them their way, just so that it stays in that circle. And then as younger artists as well, you continue to push forward in a way that, in a sense, is not necessarily costing you anything except a little bit of time to send a message. That's a good idea for everyone to kind of get out there and just give it a shot. Why not? I mean, hell, there's been artists I've tried to get on the podcast. It was like, it took years sometimes, but I kept trying at it again and again and again. And there's times where I kept trying. And then I got the answer, and the answer was, no, this isn't just going to work right now. Okay, at least I got an answer out of it. At least I got something to go off of so I can jump to the next thing. It's taking that ass backwards model and trying to see, okay, it's ass backwards, but it's not changing at this moment. What can you do? You can figure out what actually is going to work within that and make it happen. It's not the easiest thing to do, but trust me, that's how a lot of these younger artists now are getting through. How do you think Loveless got through this stuff? Loveless didn't go to like a label. They didn't go to all these different people. They just did their own thing on TikTok. There's artists that do that all the time. And we've talked about that on the podcast too. The internet takes out the middleman of this. And of course, after, you get all the numbers on TikTok, all the numbers on social media, those numbers are great as long as they're not bot numbers or bot numbers. But then you got to have the substance behind it to really put something into it. Because if you get that massive rise because of a viral video or something, that's great. But what do you do off of that then? How do you continue that? How do you sustain that success? How do you sustain that growth? But that's a story for a different day. But just to start out, I mean, my God, it's it's so easy just to send a message and hell, follow up every couple of days. Yeah, we'll end up seeing it. We'll end up looking at it. We'll end up probably listening to it. And if it's awesome, we'll be like, hell yeah, let's do something. And I'll come on this podcast. And in the intro, I will absolutely call myself out for not looking at it the first time you sent me a message. But in reality, the reason why I still looked at it was because you were consistently persistent with it.
Doing the work. Yeah, that's the thing. It's just like, you want this to be a job. Well, what do you think? You're just going to create a fucking song and it's going to go sit on whatever platform, and somehow miraculously all the right people are going to be like, I'm just looking for this band that nobody knows about, that this is that. And no, man, it doesn't happen that way. Nobody's going to come find you. You have to go find it. And everybody else is hungry too. Just depends on how hungry they are. Who's going to be at the table eating, right? Like, now, if these are bigger bands, they're already established. Those tours are going to continue to keep getting booked 10 times over. It's going to be what it is. They're going to keep shifting. You're going to see Nothing More and Disturbed and this and that. That's great, man. The platforms need to start being used for younger artists that actually get it. Not like garage bands. Like, if you, and I've said this too in the past, man. Like, I've had people, bring their kids up. Man, what's your best advice? Well, do it however you can have fun with it, man. Like, some people, that is just jamming in their garage, and that's all will ever be for them. They just want to jam with their buddies and have a few beers, and like, it's good vibes, right? And like, that's their success. My success is making records that sell, and trying to go and tour and make money and doing this and writing a better song every time. Like you talked about, elevate, right? And that's the thing, man. Just figuring out what that's going to be for you, how that's going to be for you, and then being the hungriest and the best for that, right? Like, and just having the fucking luck, because at the end of the day, like, if the right people are eventually going to have to be involved as the progression goes forward, and you're going to want it. You don't want to manage all this on your own. As an artist, you want to be an artist. Like, you want to be able to focus on writing the songs. I've noticed, like, if you get a little angst about the industry, all of a sudden your songs start getting a little darker. Well, guess what? Nobody wants to hear you fucking pout, right? There's people that are going through bad times. Now, that's art focusing on how to attack, if it's a relationship or if it's a job, or, like, she fucking hates me, for example, right? That's art figuring out how to capitalize on that emotion of that. Nobody just wants to hear you pout because you're in a bad mood about the industry, right? So it's just, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, well, how are we writing? What is our demographic? Like, like, if you're, like, 19 to 25 and you're in that melodic metal, right? Like, your niche, your competitors, and you get in it and you find out how to write songs that are just like them and competing with them and sonically sound that way and are mastered that way. They sound perfect. Then you try to work on getting yourself in those mixes with those conversations. And yes, you might not even get lucky enough to hear no's. No's means somebody write it. You're probably going to get a lot of people to just slough it off and don't even answer the email. But staying consistent, ending up in the right places at the right time are going to, and like you said, are going to end up with people at least going, okay, fuck, man, I'll give you a chance. Or and then it's up to you to kind of screw it up, right? But through all of that, when you do that, when you're looking at playlisting, when you're looking at management, when you're looking at these things, you're going to have all kinds of people that email you back and go, yeah, bro, I can get you on fucking 10 playlists for $140 and fucking I can do this. It's like, it's all jokes. It's all bullshit. Like, all that stuff, oh yeah, man, I'll manage you $750 a month. So fuck off. No. Like, no, you won't. You're going to like the music and you're going to go work it. And when I make money, everybody's making money. Because guess what? When it really breaks down at the end of the day, artists are going to make 40 to 50%. And that's generous. The team's going to make the rest of that. So it's just what it is. It's a battle that you got to, like, love to fight. But at the end of the day, like I said, as business guys, and the thing about machines, like, we're all business guys. Like, we're not just young kids that have a dream and think that this is we're going to be the next Boston or something like that. Man, it ain't that time. It ain't even that. It ain't even, I remember having a conversation with Peter Klett at Candlebox. Man, I wish it was the 90s, dude. I wish it was like the 90s. And it's like, why? He didn't even have to explain it. He lived through a different era of music and he's like, this is just not even, like, that's why he walked away forever. He's back playing some legacy shows with them and stuff, but like, they went through a different time in this industry when it was a lot different. Record deals were actual record deals, and artists were able to make some money. Like, it's just a different time. There's still money out there, but don't get it twisted. a lot of these bigger bands are in debt. Like they just go one album cycle to the next album cycle, and they keep just going back under debt. And then they clear some debt, and they go back under debt, and they clear some debt, and they go back under debt. It's just how the game is. It's just, unfortunately, instead of it's 5 guys in an RV that are hauling a trailer that's almost breaking down, going around the country, you've got 3 buses and 7 semis and 60 employees and a production budget that has to house an arena every night. You're in debt. You might be making money, but you are in debt when you get done with that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's not even just like from a business aspect too, that makes me think, oh, there's a lot of these big bands that they're making money. So how are they, going in cycles of debt? Think about just the average American and how much debt they have. The fact of the matter also is people are just, unless you're just incredibly lucky or incredibly savvy with money and just really get to that specific level where you can be doing these large things and continue to make money off of them. And I'm not saying make a profit off of them.
Yeah.
You're going to have these larger bands that are going to be in that cycle of album cycle, go on tour, and they're going to be replacing old debt with new debt. You're going to be paying off the old stuff, but because you want to go bigger, you want to go newer, and you want your show and your sound to seem a little more fresh and to seem a little bit more relevant, things are going to change. It's going to be more expensive. You're going to go back into debt once again. So you might be living the high life as a band, but your balance sheet might have you in the red. And that's never a great thing to look at. Imagine if it was your own personal finance and it was every time you got some debt cleared, you're like, this is great. Now you go into debt for something even dumber because, oh, well, I want the newer version of this car that I have. And just because, well, it's the newer version. People do that shit all the time. And if you kind of can realize that, again, it's humans that are running this, look at how humans interact on their own. Look at how humans interact with their own finance. You're going to see a lot of larger conglomerations. Hell, even larger companies are running in debt. And they're hiding it somehow. But then when the chickens come home to roost, shit, then you have a moment like 2008 all over again. And that's when shit really gets insane. So bringing up, Candlebox, it's like, yeah, man, I wish it was the 90s. It's a completely different time, a completely different era where a lot of these things that are prevalent now were not back then. And what's changed? You've got newer ways that music is coming out. You've got newer ways that things are being done, but also you have more hands that are in the pot and more hands that are being fed. And the people that are the ones, taking the money, they're not going to want to lose out on their share. So who's the people that are losing the money on all this? It's the individual artists that are doing all this stuff, that are actually creating the product that's making this go around, or the people that are absolutely funding all of this, which are the fans. It's not even anybody. It's not the people that are enjoying this and the people that are creating this. It's everyone else that has their hand in the pot that's taking all the money out of it.
Oh yeah, that's it brings up one other thing on that side. Is I always tell people to try to play as nice as you can in your sandbox, but there are promoters in cities that are blackballing, I should say, not blackmailing, blackballing bands for trying to do their own thing. Don't let it fucking happen to you. Go around them. Continue to go around them. House your own shows. I will never think it's a good idea if you know that your band go play, say like Waiting Room in Omaha, 450 people, right? If you can go put even 200 people in that place, do it yourself. Get the venue, ask what it costs to get the venue yourself, run it yourself, put on your own show, put the right bands in the bill, and capitalize on the profits. And I've had it, dude. I've had shitty ass promoters try to blackball me in cities because I went around them. Because it's like, you're gonna make like 4 or 5 Facebook posts and think that you're gonna take fucking 40% of the fucking door? Like, and pay everybody a couple $100 as opposed to people making a couple $1,000? Like, that's not even a fucking video for us. And you want to control my art, and then on top of that, you want to try to blackball me in the city when I'm trying to do the right thing to help artists. Like, okay, so that's the thing is younger bands, be careful. It's a good old boy system in a lot of places. And if you're either liked and you're under a wing, and it's like, okay, cool. Well, guess what? They're gonna keep feeding you a couple $100 a show, and at first you're like, dude, we were making $50, man. Like $200 is sick, and oh shit, we made $350. Dude, if you did the own show, if they're going off your draw, and like say you're playing with a fucking Scotty Austin, and you pull 200 people, they're gonna give you $250 when you could have just made fucking $5,000. Are you kidding me? Like, think about it like a business guy. And guess what? As long as you play cool, everybody's happy, dude. And Scotty's, of course, can always have you on every show. Anybody will, because you'll pull up people. Don't waste your audience in your place or in any place you have an audience on somebody else's benefit. Build that show, put artists on that you like, make a badass show, even if it's a cross-genre show, make a good show, and you capitalize off your show for your camp and your city. Don't let somebody else do it for you.
And the fans are going to vote with their dollars one way or the other. They're going to, if you're playing a show that's being put on by a promoter or that you're putting on yourselves, the fans are still going to show up one way or another. And it's going to be because you are there. It's not because the promoter helped you. Take a look at a band like Silly Goose, who just would, before, now I don't really see them do this much anymore because they don't have to, but they were going out in the van, they were following tours around, and they were playing outside the venue in the van while the people were leaving the venue. Hell, they still have done that times after Lollapalooza in Chicago. They'll play at gas stations. I saw them do it at Danny Warren Presents festivals. They were playing outside after the festival was done, the headliner was done, and people were showing up for it because people wanted to see this. They made it a thing that people wanted to support. Now they're playing shows over in Europe. They're playing shows all across the U.S. It's because they put it in themselves. And hell, if a promoter is not promoting their show, promoter doesn't need to promote a Silly Goose show. Silly Goose can do it on their own goddamn time, and it's going to work. That should be kind of especially younger artists, for me, it's kind of like the archetype of, if you think you can do this yourself, you're not going to need those others. And what's going to happen? More and more younger bands are going to start doing this potentially. Fans are still going to vote with their dollars and go and see you guys. And hell, if you're the ones that are putting on yourselves and you are losing 40% at the door, hell, ticket prices might be a little bit cheaper. Merch prices might be a little bit cheaper. Holy shit, you want to know what else is going to happen? More people are going to show up because they're going to see your show as affordable, and you're still going to make more money than you would going for that promoter. Having them take 40% of the cut, even being in a buy on too, and having another artist take a percentage of your cut, and then not making any money back. Like, damn,
100%, man.
100%. DIY is the fucking way to go for a younger band at this day and age.
It really is. I mean, all the tools are there for you, dude. Like, I mean, like you mentioned AI. Like, AI is a tool. Use it as a tool. It's not a fucking crutch. It's a tool. Use it as a tool. Use it as a way to. Damn, I think there was just an accident behind me.
Oh shit.
I'm not driving, but I swear I just heard an accident back there. But I'm parked, so it ain't me. But it's a tool, man. Like, use it as a tool. Don't use it to be. You're not an AI thing. Like, use it to craft what you're crafting and help, like, guide what you're trying. If it's a mission that you're trying to accomplish, right? Use it to guide that. If you're trying to accommodate a certain sound, use it to try to as a guide to help get you close. And ear to ear. You still got to do it all yourself. You need to play all this shit yourself, sing all this stuff yourself. Like, I think it's a tool. Everybody's got their different thing on it, right? But at the end of the day, with everything I'm saying, it's not to say that there's not good people in the industry. It's not to say that there's not good promotional companies. But I can tell you from my experience that there are people in different cities that are bad. And they are killing and talking just point blank killing new music. And they don't understand it because they think, oh, I got my little circle of 5 bands. Dude, you're fucking smothering bands and you're ruining your scenes. Like, these bands need to grow past you. Like, get away from the psychotic control factor here and, like, let these bands go live. They're not going to be your babies forever. If you put them on a show, it's not your band forever. You're helping a band grow and get out of here. The last thing, if you're a local promoter, that you want is to have the same fucking band for 15 years. Because guess what? They didn't succeed. If they're a local band for 15 years, they probably won't still be a band. They didn't succeed. You want them to go and grow and get out there. And then every time they come back, they're saying, hey, come out to the show, man. Come out to the show. You're the one that helped us get this shit started. We have our own way of doing shows now, but just come out to the show. We're still buddies. You didn't try to blackmail or blackball me and keep me under your wing so I didn't grow and get past it. Because that's the thing is, there's tiers to all this stuff, dude. You've got local shows, you've got little regional acts, you've got like C-list nationals, B's, A's, everybody growing, right? And they all play in the same sandbox. But your promoters that are doing A shows, they're not even getting C crumbs. And you've got local getting like C crumbs, right? And these guys are doing all this stuff together. And they play in the same circle. The same bands open the shows for the C-list nationals that are asking for $1,500 to $3,000 to come in and play. And it's like, dude, you brought 30 people. Like the local band brought the other 60. So that's the way that we were able to pay you, was because the local band brought the people. Like, and this is the concept, but people just don't look into it. So it's like, as a younger band, understand that this is out there. It is very prominent in a lot of cities. And this is how a lot of these acts are still going, because they're in debt and have to pay their debt and they owe people. So be smart, be cognizant of this, and do your own stuff. Doesn't mean go hell bent against everybody, but be aware that there are people that are out there aggressive, and it's not going to be advantageous for you to take certain things that seem too good, because it is too good. It's not true.
I always follow the kind of moniker: if it's too good to be true, more than likely it is too good to be true. So keep up with that. Keep your head on a swivel. And as a younger artist, I mean, if anything that we've talked about, because I'm taking a look at the time, like we've been going on this topic, I'm pretty sure for the last 50 minutes, but I am so happy that we did. Just always go back and reference this thing. Always go back and reference all of that, because it might be the thing that saves you a lot of money. It might be the thing that saves you from making a bad decision, and could potentially save you from making the decision that would destroy you as an artist, as a band, and put you into the boring old corporate world that maybe you were not cut out to be in, because we should be hearing your art and we should be hearing your music, and it deserves that type of an audience.
100%, man. Like I said, it could be one thing. You can only spend money for so long until it doesn't come back in. So that's what I'm saying. When I say killing bands, it's not obviously people getting hurt physically.
No,
it's that the financial backing, whether it's coming from a whole band together, 4 or 5 people together, 3 people together, somebody's mom, somebody's dad, one person in the band, that well runs dry if it's not refilled. It will go dry. And unfortunately, if that was their one time they had to take, we're going to do this one single and we're going to try to do it, and this guy's promising us the world, and they're done. If they don't recoup any of that, they're done. Like and they might have been a great band with great musicians and good people, and they're done, right? And so there's got to be a mold break, because at the end of the day, you had somebody like, I think Fred Durst, a couple in an interview, was like, "Oh, there's not a lot of good rock." Well, no fucking shit. Nobody's giving anybody any chances.
Yeah, I was like, Youngblood just had an interview too, where it's like the way young rock is going to get killed is by people constantly having a negative connotation to it. And we've been talking so long about how we wanted new things to come up and we wanted new sounds, because we were tired of seeing the same old acts headlining these festivals or having these shows over and over again. And now we're seeing that, and we're seeing younger artists come through, and the people that have been begging for that are now doing the exact same shit in the first place. Hell, I would love to see more younger artists come on this podcast. I gave you guys the blueprint on how to do it. I'm still going to be bringing the big boys on too, because that's also who I love to listen to, I want to talk to, but I also want to bring you guys on. We got to remove that negative perception one way or another. Yes, you can do it on an individual basis, but the more and more people we get to be able to do something like that, and the more people vote with their wallets and vote with their money, holy shit, that's when things start to change. The only way that a lot of these instances are going to change is when the people that are siphoning off the money are no longer able to do so.
Yep, that only happens with just being smart, because they are there. It'd be crazy to think not there. Now, don't get me wrong. There might be some great people that connect the dots for you, and those people are they are worth the money, but they're not asking for money up front. They're going to say, "Hey, man, I believe in this. I'm going to take this and get this working. When it starts catching, I'm going to need these points." Right? Duh. Like if you that's the one thing, you can't be selfish. Like, oh, it's my art. I'm making all the money. No, dude, you need a team. You do need a team to make it happen. You need to be smart about the first thing with those bands is figure out what the hell you even are. Guide that in, really hone in on what you are, what your meaning is, what your stories are through your albums, and get that going. Once you've got that going, then it's like, okay, cool. We're gonna eventually need a good booking agent. Find a good booking agent who's going to get you the opportunities. They're gonna be right. Mm-hmm. Find a good management team that isn't gonna ask for a bunch of money up front and say, "Yeah, man, we'll get you there all we can get you," and then they're charging you $750 a month, but then they're also going to come to you and say, "Hey, I got a great opportunity for a $10,000 buy-on for a fucking C-list act." That's not a manager. That's a fucking favor from somebody else to get somebody else rich, or somebody else money, right? So that's the thing is like there's stuff like that, and everybody's gonna be buddy while all those conversations are happening. It's just seeing through the bullshit. If they can still be buddy with you when you shut down a shitty business idea like that, then you have your answer if they're really for you or not.
Yeah. And if they aren't your buddy when you shut down a bad business idea, you know what? Congrats. You win. Go to the next person. Someone else is going to be more willing to help you. Yeah. Now, Eric, I gotta ask you this because we literally been on this for like almost an hour right now. Yeah. I know you also got to go pick up your kids at some point in time. How much more time do I got with you? Because I do want to talk about the brand new song you just put out.
Well, I'm gonna start driving at the same time, but I can drive and talk with you plenty because I got you right here. So I'll drive and talk at the same time. I got about a 30-minute or 20-minute drive. So.
All right, so we got the most 20 minutes. Honestly, I'm more than good with that. You are not the first person that will have done an interview while driving a car. I've seen it multiple times. My favorite still is Garrett Russell from Silent Planet because he went to pick up his buddy from the airport and then he had his buddy hold his phone. I'm just like,
I love that man.
Yeah, and funny enough, a year and a half later, the guy's buddy's like, hey, remember me? I recorded the interview you guys did with Garrett. Yeah, can I come on the podcast too? I got music. Fuck yeah, you can. I'm like, you earned it.
You're like, fuck yeah, you can, dude.
Yeah. But when it comes to In the Dark, again, the brand new single that came out on New Year's Day, so literally the day before we shot this, go into the song with us, man. Like, what was your inspiration behind this thing? And especially on the sonic perspective, because I know you, as a student of music, you want to be able to tell that story that you're trying to portray in the best way possible. So how'd you come up with In the Dark?
So, I mean, it's just kind of like it's kind of an inner battle with like something that is, like it's got positives for you, but it's also got some negatives, and it's like, is it good? Is it bad? Like it's kind of like that fight, like that it brings an inner struggle where you're almost questioning some things that you're doing, but you know that you're doing good at certain things. I try to, and I try to write songs to where anybody can listen to it and go like, oh, this means this to me, right? Like, because at the end of the day, not everybody's going to take it from my situation. I think I was going through, I don't know, maybe an argument with my wife at the time or something like that, or, like something, and it wasn't even necessarily anything too tragic, but it's like, like the line came up like a candy cane in the dark. I don't know where that even came up from, but it was just something where I was like, dude, like, I'm going to write something that's just like completely kind of off the wall, a little bit different, still has this type of meaning to it, but doesn't like it, and it's still like straight up the gut, like just a mainstream rock sound, and it's catchy, but it's not like, it's not negative. It's not saying anything real negative. It's just like, you kind of can be stuck in the dark on things. Like, do you know, like, am I doing something? Am I doing this right? Am I doing it wrong? And that's kind of where it came from. Obviously the verses, it's talking about like a lust for something. And that's in the verses there. So you can see that it's kind of somewhat focused around, a love or a lust type of situation. Mm-hmm. But, at the end of the day, the topic of what it's about is just like in how it's written. I write them very simply. I don't try to overcomplicate it. I don't try to make the words like, I'm not writing all these crazy paragraphs, dude. I'm trying to write songs that people remember and they captivate to. And they take whatever I'm telling you right now, but they hear the song and like, well, I think about this about my boyfriend, or I think about this about my girlfriend, whatever it is, right? Like the song has to be translatable to anybody and everybody.
Oh, it absolutely has to be. If it's not, if the song is overly specific, where you can only relate to it based on if you exactly went through the exact same type of thing or the exact same way that someone else did, you're not going to relate to it. You're going to pass it by, and it's going to be something that just gets lost in the ether. The song sonically could be one of the most incredible things you could imagine. It could be that 6-minute long song that is insanely awesome, but it's not going to connect with people. It's going to get lost in the ether. It's not a Bohemian Rhapsody type song where in 6 minutes it goes through so many different, types and styles, but it's something that people just get into because it creates an emotion and it holds you into that type of emotion and storytelling every step of the way. So by keeping it simple and keeping it more of a metaphor in a way where people can put their own mentality and mindset into it, then they can follow along with the story. They can follow along with the emotionality of it, put themselves into it, and really go deeper into it. Because when I think about, thinking about yourself when you're in the dark, it's like, even if you're in a dark room by yourself, what always happens in that moment? And for me specifically, it's now my mind starts to run. If it's somewhere, it's like I've had to learn this. If I, going to bed at night, you're in the dark, your brain is in the dark. If I am thinking about something, it is so hard for me to fall asleep because I just get super focused in on it. And I'm not creating different scenarios or anything, but it's like I'm analyzing every little detail of something because I want to make sure I'm making the best decision going forward. And it ruins you at times because now you can't sleep. Now it has these adverse effects going later down the line. And it's something that creates this certain type of fog that even goes within you. And while you're listening in the dark, there's a lot of different production on here that, in my mind, kind of creates a little bit of that like static in your brain that doesn't let you fully concentrate. And when you're stuck in the dark on something, you're trying to overanalyze everything. Now you're not really seeing the full picture because you're so hyper focused in on a detail that you think might be very important, but you're overlooking something that is really what's impacting you.
Yeah, that's exactly that feeling, man. It's, you get into that reflection mode, like when you're reflecting on things and you're like, it's being hypersensitive to like your self-worth and your production level that you're putting out and whatever you're trying to do and whatever it is. And it's all of that. It's all of that into one, man. On top of like the love and the lust thing and everything like that. It's just because that's part of it. You reflect on those things. You reflect on the positive portions of that and the negative portions of that and what you had to do with it and what you think you didn't have to do with it. And I mean, everything, right? So, everything I write is generally focused around something in my life. But like I said, and like you noted on there, I just never really make it too specific because nobody, like, they didn't live it. Mm-hmm. They lived something similar in their own life, but they didn't live what I lived. Like, it's not how songwriters, but you write something that's translatable. Like you can understand it in your life this way. Maybe it isn't about a relationship. Maybe for you it is like, man, I work 70 hours a week. I got kids to feed. I got this and I got that. When I come home, I kind of try to shut my brain off and I can't shut it off, dude. I just feel like I'm failing somewhere. Like maybe that's where this song is going to for somebody. And somebody else, it might be for something else. That's my whole, how we talked about it last time. That's just how I try to write, man. It's got to be something that can be relatable for everybody, or else it's not going to get out to the masses.
Oh, absolutely. You're right on that. I've got an episode coming out later in January with Timo from the band Armirage, and he brought up something like this, and I'm not going to say it here because I don't want to spoil it because it was a moment of like profound holy shitness when it came to understanding why music works the way it does, but it all revolves around something of that concept. I just don't want to spoil it because it was that damn good, and I want to make people be like, I want to check that one out too.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, you're making the best point about it is, and I've said it before too, is you're keeping it to a point where it can be relatable for yourself on a very specific aspect, but you're keeping it general enough to where we can understand the emotion, but then put our own selves into it and really understand it, which is why I brought up, be in the dark and just when my mind starts running wild, why it's so hard to fall asleep and then what happens beyond that, because I've had that happen before in a way that was, insanely tough for me to get through, where I was not sleeping at all during the weekdays and going to work was an absolute rough patch. And something needed to happen in order for me to find some positivity in life, to try and focus on something different. And, well, that in somehow, some way led directly to us talking right now, because that was something that led to this being created over 7 years ago.
That's what I'm talking about, man. See, being the positive with it.
And the thing is, if you can take a negative moment or take a negative feeling and somehow turn it into a positive for yourself, I see it as two main things happen. One, if that feeling ever comes back, then you know how to deal with it and you can turn that back into a positive and keep the positivity rolling. Or two, if it's a bad moment, you just own that moment and there's no getting away from it. You own the moment. It is now yours forever and no one can hurt you or nothing can hurt you because you own it. You beat it. It's kind of like the end of 8 Mile where it's like, I know all the shit you're going to say about me or I know all the shit the situation put me through. Here it all is. What do you have for me now?
Getting through the bad stuff and finding the positives out of it, like your perspective. Perspective is a huge thing, man. Like you could sit there and like, oh man, everything sucks. Well, no shit. You're looking at the glass half empty kind of idea, right? Look at the glass half full kind of idea and tell me how your shit changes.
Oh, it changes dramatically. And I think that's one thing that In the Dark kind of brings forward is, not only taking a look at it as a way half empty, but also kind of looking at it as a way half full. If you look at it from two different perspectives, the song is going to take on a different thought, different emotion, different meaning, and different feeling, given if you look at it with a pessimistic or an optimistic tone of mindset.
100%, man. 100%, dude. That's essentially, like I said, how I try to write everything. The mindset that I'm in when I'm writing. I don't try to write in negative minds. Like I've gotten good at being able to take like a negative energy or something like that that's going on and figuring out twisting it into some type of positive. Because at the end of the day, it's just, I love Alice in Chains. We talked about that before. It's just a lot of people don't want to hear, the negative stuff. They want to hear the positive stuff.
But sometimes they have to hear the negative stuff, but it's what you do with that negative stuff and how it connects with people is really what matters.
The full circle. Yeah, the full circle, man.
The full circle. Well, man, I mean, I normally only do these for like an hour, but we were having such an insane time. We're at like an hour 10 right now. I know you're going to pick up your kids. So I got one more question for you, Eric, before we wrap this up. I did not have the privilege of asking this question the last time because you were on the podcast back in June of 2023. I started asking this question in September of that year. So now I finally get to do it to you. I've been asked this question since that moment because it's a way for us as music lovers, fans, and myself to get to know more great new music and for you to get support the music you love too. I'm going to limit it to 3 because otherwise we'll still be here well into the night. But Eric, can you name me 3 bands or artists that you love that you would love to see more people get into right now?
Yeah, man. Never Tell is killer. Never Tell is great. Sleep Theory's great. There's another one, man. Is it Cammy? She's a girl.
Cammy Kehoe?
Yeah, dude. The production on that is fucking killer too. Bill Murray, like if you just put on like Bill Murray radio or Never Tell radio, like just let it spin. Like Royal Lynn's good too. Her production team's killer too. That's a little bit more of a country rocker girl, but yeah, she's good too.
Oh, don't worry. I'm familiar with a lot of them. I've had Royal Lynn on the podcast. I've had Never Tell on the podcast, both in 2025. Sleep Theory was on back in 2023. Tried getting Cammy Kehoe on. I got told no in 2025, but that doesn't mean we're going to stop. So maybe expect it in 2026. We'll see what happens. Cool, man.
Hell yeah. Well, if she hears this, she needs to do one with you. I think it'd be cool. Like that's awesome because like I said, all those bands I take little pieces of stuff I hear and put things to use and put sounds and soundscapes and all of it, man. Like it's just right in the vein of where we're at. So 110%, man. Those are the 3 or 4 right off the top of my head that I'm like, yeah, right there.
Yeah. And we'll stick with that. Well, Eric, I want to thank you once again for being on the podcast today. Last time you were on here. It was incredible. This time, oh, dear God, I think we beat that. I think we easily beat that with the conversation we had. So, everybody, we're going to close podcast out with 3 things. First things first, like last time, when it comes to machines, you're going to want to follow along with them. Go check out the brand new Single in the Dark. Go make sure you're in the know with everything that's going on with them. So, go script to the podcast where it says Find Machines Online. Links, labels for everything are going to be down there. Social media, YouTube, where you can find them online to stream the music, where you can connect them, and when they go play live, where you can see them. It's all down there. So go click on the links and have a good time. I'm doing all the research, so do not let me down. You don't got to do any work. Just tap and go. That's as simple as that. Now it's time for number 2. Eric, the last thing in the podcast, I said, when I get Super Phone Live for the first time, I'll come and say hi to you, but the promise is first round's on me. Well, I still haven't seen you play live yet, but this is your second time on the podcast. Let's make that 2.
Make it okay. Sounds good. Sounds good to me, man.
Hell yeah. So I'll be Oh, go ahead.
As I say, we got to get you out. We'll get out and play somewhere near you sometime soon, dude. Or if you want to come to Omaha sometime when we're playing, you let me know.
All right, we'll do. We'll see how it all works out this year. I'll keep tabs with you guys. I'll keep monitoring you guys when it comes to live shows coming out. We'll see how that goes. But now it's time for number 3, Eric. Again, when it comes to saying goodbye, that is way too final. I cannot do that because I got to keep in that promise. Plus 2 insanely awesome podcast episodes in a row. We got to go for 3 at some point. We got to go for 3.
100%, man. So it's always see you later.
Yep. It's not goodbye. It's always see you later.
Yeah, absolutely, brother.
Woo! Well, folks, I've interviewed Eric from Machines, and now it's time for Kevin's final thought. When Eric first brought up the thing about, things holding young bands back in the music industry, bad practices that he's seen, I wanted to jump into it head first. I did not want to skip around it. I did not want to let it be a thing of the past. I want to jump as heavily into it as possible. And you're probably asking, well, Kevin, why'd you want to do that? It's very simple as to why I wanted to do that. Let's be completely honest. I love seeing young artists rise. Eric brought up young artists that he wants more people to get into that are on the rise that I've had on the podcast for. He brought up Never Tell and Royal Lynn, we've had on 2025. Sleep Theory has really risen in the last couple of years, and we had them out when their first EP came out back in 2023. So I'm all about this, and I'm all about trying to make sure that young artists have a chance, that young artists have the way to go about it and really gain prominence. That's what I want to see. That's what I hope for. And that's what I want to help out with too. And that's why I think this episode is going to be insanely important for everybody to listen to, because you're going to see and really understand some of the bad business practices that are in place right now that are going to prevent young bands from really growing in the future. And then you can understand what is being done about it. You can understand what you have to do in order to make sure you don't fall prey or victim to that. But I think the other key too is, I did say this during the episode because I thought that it would be the best time to say it, because I'm not sure how many of you really listen to the Kevin's Final Thought portion of the program, but I need to say it here as well. Yes, I still am a one-man show here. Yes, I have many other responsibilities outside this podcast. I do so many other things. Like I said, I do the podcast. I have a full-time job. I have a girlfriend. I have friends. I go to concerts a lot. I work out a lot. I have a family stuff to do with. I fight MMA now too. That's a lot to fit into a 24-hour day. There's not all the times I get to see stuff. If you send me a message on one thing, it might just slip through the cracks. So be persistent. Keep sending me messages. Keep me accountable for it. Keep saying like, hey, we sent you a message the other day. Don't stop until I respond. Because otherwise, either I'm going to get so annoyed where I'm going to be like, fuck it, I have to listen to this. And otherwise I'm going to say, no, it's just not my thing. It's just not what we're looking for right now. It's just not, a sound that I think is going to work out with the audience. Or I might be like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And then I'm going to go on the intro and, basically say that you guys basically bullied me into this. And I feel bad for not listening the first time because of how good it was. Shit like that, I want to see happen. So follow along with that and keep that mindset, especially when it comes to what you're doing too. Put in the work. Make it happen. I want to thank Eric for coming to the podcast. When it comes to Machines, go to your podcast, bold links, labels for everything, and where to find them online, social media, YouTube, where you can stream the music, where you can listen to it, where you can pick up some merch, and of course, you can see and play live when they have live shows all down there. Please also follow us, the Chord Progression Podcast, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The subscribe button, if you're on YouTube, is right down here. Start out 2026 right by hitting that subscribe button down here on YouTube, or subscribe / follow button on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Hit the like button up so I'll push it in the algorithm so more people get to hear what was talked about today and actually understand what's going on and help keep us getting to that number 1 ranking on millionpodcast.com for both metalcore and metal music. Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. And that's it for me. Thank you very much for listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. I'm Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single voice episode. Big, healthy, and hearty. See ya! Yeah!